Dave, there's been some news about venues looking to book residencies, like 3, 4, 5 nights. You're thinking creatively about all sorts of things. Is that something that you think could become more widespread as a way to make it more possible for your artists to tour? And then the second question that sort of tacks onto that is that something economically that the artist will want to do?
Yeah, I think that's definitely something we're exploring, for certain artists. Some artists don't want to do that stuff and kind of can't scale down to make it work. And other artists can, but in order to make things profitable, a lot of these artists are going to have to start making some sacrifices on production, maybe taking a little bit less crew. Everyone's going to kind of need to be a little bit more conservative with their budgets moving forward, because everyone's got a lot of lost time and lost revenue to make up. So, and with the economy being what it is and what it's going to be, ticket prices are probably going to have to come down a bit, which means money's, guarantees are going to come down. And so, without a doubt, I think artists, we're exploring all that stuff, but it's going to have to come with a large, a larger understanding from like the overall climate and situation out there from managers and bands. And, that's something we're working really hard on, is to keep the expectations of today's realities, kind of in line with all these bands. And I think most bands and managers, I think, get it, because everyone's dealing with this. Like, there isn't anyone that's not affected by it. And I think that the sad thing is that that's the truth. Like, everyone's being hurt by this. But on the flip side of that coin is that there's comfort in knowing that, like, no one's alone right now. Like, everyone's in this together. And that's been kind of cool, because I think that there's been a synergy with agents and promoters and managers, and even agents with other agencies, all kind of working together in a way that you've never really seen. And I'm really hoping a lot of that kind of continues even when all this is done. Like, I think that's been something that's been really kind of nice to see everyone come together and try to get through this, because it's the only way we're going to get through it, is by working together and figuring it out.
Dave, this goes to you and maybe the promoters as well. I mean, I'm hearing rumors about the bigger companies totally restructuring deals for shows that are already confirmed. Is that something that you can talk about? And Peter and Anthony, is that something that you guys are doing as well? And yeah, what does the future look like? Is it all door deals?
Yeah, so we've been approached. We had a long call with the head of global touring at AEG last week to walk us through their plans. They are restructuring all their deals. They're basically considering every deal they've made prior to this as a deal that is kind of falls under force majeure and allows them the ability to renegotiate. And they're even renegotiating shows that were sold out, because they have the belief that shows that are selling really well will get refunds, and they don't want to be stuck holding that bag. And I've heard a lot of other agents, different perspectives on this, and mine is that I think we have to back their play on that, because I think that a lot of people are not going to come out of this, and venues are going to close, and promoters are going to go out of business, and we all need each other to make this thing work. And so, the idea that people can lose, more money right when they come back after, losing all the revenue they lost while being shut down, a lot of people just can't afford to do that. So we as agents, I think, share a bit of a responsibility to try to also help figure out how to, get them to survive that. So that's definitely something that we're thinking about. But Live Nation, on the flip side, they're still kind of figuring out their deals and exploring what that's going to look like. They've run a few different models by us and other agents, and but they haven't locked in anything. They're still kind of making final determinations there. And then the independent promoters, a lot of them are working together. There's like this independent promoter coalition that a couple people put together. I don't know if Anthony or Peter, you guys have been in any of those conversations, but I know something I've been seeing on pretty much all my deals from the indie promoters is that, if a show doesn't gross the guarantee, then the guarantee changes to be 100% of the gross and some of the things like that, just to protect some of their downside risk. And again, like, I'm not opposed to those things. And I think that my mentality with all of the promoters and with all the managers when speaking to them about this has been, I am open to helping them decrease their risk, because I think it is important that we help everyone stay in business. But if we're going to help them decrease our risk, we need to increase our walkout potential. So I'm totally down to take deals to my artists where the front ends are lower, but the back ends have to be higher, because it's just simple risk versus reward. If we're going to decrease their risk, our reward needs to go up. And if you believe in your artists and you're going to book them smart and book it the right way, then ultimately you have the ability to make more money that way than you did before. And I think that as long as we have that ability, I'm all for, helping decrease some of the risk and helping people stay in business. We need promoters just as much as they need us, and we're all in this together, and we're all struggling through it. So we all need to figure it out together.
Anthony or Peter, you want to fight him on that?
No, I said it. I'm fortunate that in doing this a long time, I just deal with mostly people who are my homies at this point. And so we have great relationships, and we're friends inside the business and outside the business. So we all want to stay here and, have our kids' college fund stay intact and be able to not sell our houses and all that. So I'm all about the creative deals on my end. I'm still giving guarantees to the bands that should get guarantees, but I am sending less, but I'm making it versus a straight higher percentage of the door than normally I would do on a door percentage, because that is a very fair way to do it. We're all in this together. I can't be the ATM machine that's taking all the risk for everything, because again, none of us know what's going to happen or what the fans are going to do, or if parents are going to let their kids go see shows. So I'll give a little bit less risk for me up front, but a bigger reward for you to walk out with. If the business is there, by all means, make more money, because that means I'm making money and we're all making money, and everybody should be happy at that point.
Kim, does this all make you happy? And will it make your client happy?
Yeah, we've touched on these conversations already with my clients, and like we're all saying, we're all in it together, and we're moving forward with the thought that we're probably going to make less money on shows. There's probably going to be a lot more restrictions and parameters, at least for a while, when we do play shows, and we want to see our partners succeed. So as long as we're all succeeding together, we're all for the changes that need to be made. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to them. And I think if we can get everyone on the same page where, we take the losses together and we win together, then that's how this industry survives. And hopefully less and less people will lose jobs, and hopefully less businesses will close, and we'll come out on the other side of all of this.
Awesome. It's a great way to kind of wrap up. I want to throw like one almost sort of like left field question to Anthony, if I could, and then pass along to Mike to kind of wrap us up. Because we have a lot of, developing artists and independent artists who will be watching this. Anthony, what is the way that you want those artists to be communicating with you and pitching you on gigs once the doors are open again at your venue?
Man, to be honest, the same way that I would want them to do, whether this mess was happening or not. Just professionalism, proving their worth and so on. But I mean, just kind of having just an understanding for how things, may or may not work out. Not to have any kind of high hopes or demands, and just to be able to kind of work the best they can with us as promoters and venues and other bands, but to be able to kind of roll with the punches, and understand that we're all kind of, dipping our toes back into the water, just kind of see how things are going to, progress and at what speed, and just, just want them to kind of be mindful of that, and, work together as a team to make this as the best that we can, and just to kind of get that ball rolling again, and keep the shows happening.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Mike, you said the first 10 minutes totally blew your mind. I don't think there was another 10 minutes that followed where I wasn't scribbling away over here to the left on all, taking notes on everything. But yeah, can you kind of wrap us up? I mean, there was so much good stuff here.
I'll do my best. I mean, this was an incredible panel. Thanks you guys for joining us. I mean, I love that we've got so much to think about, and really that, as I think Dave sort of started us off, I mean, we're all in the same boat, though that boat is a boat that's sailing into the unknown seas. So I'll continue to look to the stars to navigate me, and when I get in trouble, I'll call the aviator. And thankfully, he's got a relationship with the other guys, and I just think we're in a really cool spot, and this has been a lot of fun. This has been one of the more fun panels for me. I love the touring side of the business, and ultimately, I guess as we finish, Kim and I are probably thinking, or at least I know I'm thinking, in one of the other panels that we did with a record label owner, he was saying the business has been so skewed in terms of, for artists revenue in terms of touring. And so as we come out of this, I think it's going to help us adjust a little bit, in a certain sense. The touring, I think we can all agree, was probably oversaturated. And I think, there's going to be, sadly, some sacrifices of artists that might not be able to make it through, whether it's because of availability or finances. But for those of us that do make it through, right, we're also in this time developing strategies to not just be so dependent upon touring. So it's a really exciting time for the business. And one thing that I know, I mean, because everybody on here has been doing it as long as we have, we're going to make it through, regardless of what comes next. So thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Peter,
Thanks for having
Dave, Anthony, Kim, Mike, thank you very, very much. Greatly appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you, everyone.
Stay safe.
Thanks.